All right. Well, looks like we made it. We should be live on YouTube. If you're joining me for day 3 of the Power BI challenge, just say a quick hi. I love hearing your hellos. Tell me again where you were calling in from. Talking about that, we are going to have a call-in option for our thing, and with that button, we should be live on Facebook as well. I'm not able to monitor the comments on Facebook though, so pop over to YouTube if you want me to see your comments. Yes, only so much a guy can do, right? So, yeah. Oh, that is indeed the comment, and let's see who's on. Let me know if the audio is working good today. Guy Johnson is back. Hello and welcome, my friend. He reports in a success. He rebuilt his Power BI model with what we covered yesterday, and his refresh issue is solved. The model looks at data from 1, 2, 3, 4 years. The original refresh was 5 minutes and 40 seconds. I now have it down to 16 seconds. Oh my gosh. So Power BI is Agile BI. And one of the key concepts of Agile is continuous improvement, right? Every time you do something better and slightly better and slightly better. So when I was in the old world in Excel, we would, it wasn't unusual to spend a week refreshing a monthly report. So we would spend a whole week there, and that was okay. And there were so many tiny steps that, it was just it added up. But when you automate it, pull it in Power BI and automate, and you get it down to one click, a single click, no matter how complex the data transformation are. Seriously, if a human can do it, Power BI can do it too. You just have to teach it, right? And we got it down to one step, but then you want to automate that one step as well. You want to have automated refresh. All right, Pavesh is here. Jennifer says hello. Jennifer says, I only see green background. Oh, that's not good. What's showing up on YouTube? Pavan says hello to Power BI heroes. Indeed, my friends. We're all on a journey, right? So don't kind of sometimes we start comparing. I was like, oh, he's ahead, he's behind. That's all pointless. So let's go. I'm gonna check the channel, see how things are looking. But yeah, let me know if you're all seeing a green background. Oh, Jennifer is certainly having trouble just seeing a green background. Guy Johnson, have a lot of work in front of me rebuilding many BI models. And again, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. I mean, I was speaking to Matt Allington. He's another Power BI MVP. We presented a session at the Power BI Summit together. I always love what he has to say. And we were laughing about this, that, I mean, even for us now, if we look at something that we built a year ago, 6 months ago, 1 month ago, sometimes you go, huh? Why do we do it that way? So yeah, that's fun. Let's see. So Kimberly can at least see me. I'm glad. And yeah, looks like things do look good. All right. So step into day 3. So again, guys, a bit of a catch up. And So 3 things. 1, if you haven't signed up, why haven't you signed up for the challenge officially? So the challenge information page has all the cool stuff. Now, one thing that we added yesterday, and it worked great, was this dial-in feature. And we're going to try it again today. I can't wait, in fact, to talk to some more of you and listen to what you have to share and your questions. So that worked great yesterday. If you don't see it, hit Control F5 or Control Refresh, because the pages, our browsers are smart. They cache the pages. But yeah, if there's an update to the page, you wouldn't see it. So that's number 1. Number 2, the chance to win is live. And oops, I need to do that too. So if step 2 says to be announced for you, just do the Control F5 magic. And there you go. Now both steps are live, and I'm super excited. So frankly, I think when I started the course back in 2017, so I'd been teaching Power BI for a long time, but 2017, January, I wanted to start teaching it online, and I asked for volunteers for my beta program, and I got so much love. I got such amazing people. If you have not met her virtually, then you should. Oops, Justina Bucks. She was one of the first members in the program, and she is such an amazing story. So yeah, so this is the second time I'm trying this, where you get a chance to win a seat on the course, and I'm excited about this. So just 2 simple steps. Just leave a comment on the video. Tell me what you think, right? Honest, doesn't have to be positive. It's okay to leave an honest feedback, right? That still counts. You'll still be entered to win, and then you fill out the survey. So that one is on, and so let's go to step day 3, and I'm going to show you a little bit. Oops, I realize this hasn't been updated, but day 3 today, we're going to step into a little more of DAX. And yeah, so let's do that. Who else is there? Wusa, sorry, I'm Gopi. I'm going to pick the simple one. So Gopi says hi from India. Thank you for joining, Gopi. I know it's really late over there. And Simon is there from Coquitlam, British Columbia. Awesome. And Gopi has just now started. Okay, yeah. So it's okay if you're joining in the middle, because the challenge information page, if you go to resources, that has all the replays. So wow, so we got a few replays now. So day 1 recap, day 1 the full video, day 2 recap, and day 2 the full video, and the first one is just kind of an intro. So you have all the replays. You can just watch the recap if you're in a hurry. So that's just a few minutes long. The real calls are like 2.5 hours or something, however long it went. So yeah, so those are there. All the challenge files are there. So yeah, you're all set. Don't feel like you're gonna have to scramble or anything. Just take a deep breath. You're in the right place, my friend. You're always in the right place. You're always exactly where you need to be, right? All your life brought you here, and you're sitting on that launch pad. We talked about it a little bit on the day 1. You're sitting on the launch pad, ready to take off to the skies. Would you rather be anywhere else? I wouldn't. Cool. Monica Nangia from Palo Alto, California. So let's go for day 3. The plan today is to dive in deeper into DAX. So what we had done in day 1, oops, I thought I had the file open. And again, guys, you already have this file in here. So let's try this. Day 3, and hopefully we'll... Oops, let's try. How's the weather where you guys are? So Seattle had a hot spell, and my brother lives in Atlanta, and they laugh at us when we call it a hot spell. So in 80s is a hot spell for us. 90s is really hot. Yeah, but of course Atlanta scoffs at that. So all right, so so what we have done is, so again, Power BI is simple, guys, and it shouldn't feel hard. I mean, it's yeah, words have power, or thoughts have power. If you feel that it's hard, it's gonna stay hard. I know it sounds kind of weird, but yeah, enjoy the journey. It's easy. Why shouldn't it be easy? So we just connect data, clean up, define measures, create a report, publish and use, and just go in circles. And this is, of course, a real Power BI was a real project we ran with a real businesswoman, Kimberly Marie, a hairstylist and a business coach. We brought her in, and for 5 weeks we were doing this exact cycle that we're stepping through on this. Of course, we're doing a compressed version, kind of a guided version. I'm taking you step by step, and that's okay. And by the way, you can also choose your adventure. If you're a beginner, just stay with the tutorial. That's all right. Intermediate, follow along in this real Power BI project as I'm guiding you. Or Intermediate Plus, you can also choose your own project. So it's all good. Pick your own path. It's not comparison. It's we're all in a good place. It's all about getting better. So to recap, we had connected the data, cleaned it up. We had brought in multiple sheets. That's in the query editor. So here we have salon data. This is kind of combining in lots of different sheets of data, right? And from Excel. And then we defined some basic measures and just slap them on a graph, right? So sales, expenses, net income. And we had some fun with the rolling 7-day average. But I want to delve a little deeper into DAX and talk about disconnected slicers, right? So if you remember the data set we had, so I'm going to keep an eye on the comments. Okay, awesome. All right, things are good. It's raining in Western Pennsylvania in the 70s. You know, that's nice weather by Seattle. Yeah. All right. So if you go to salon data, we have what is with these blank stuff? We have so imagine a hair salon, right? So retail is a products you sell. That's kind of an orange hiding amongst apples. We'll deal with that later, perhaps. But her main income is from kind of services and tips, and then she has categorized them as credit card or cash because she did want to see that kind of separately. And of course, then there are expenses. So we want to focus on this, the services and tips. And we do have a measure which shows us the services and tips. So it's $25,000, and we can slice and dice it how we want. And if you want to look at the measure, let's look at that. So amount, services, and tips. This one, and I often build measures in Lego blocks, services and tips. And each one, if you look at services, that has cash plus credit card, tips has something similar. So we get that measure, but what if we are showing this and showing the daily trend and so forth, and we just want to toggle by payment method, cash or credit card. Now what I've done is I've created this table off on the side. So if you look at this one is off to the side, and this one is disconnected, and I intend to leave it disconnected. So normally what you need to do is you need to connect two tables to be able to slice and dice this data using, you know, kind of by year, month, quarter, and all of that stuff. That's how it normally works. But we're gonna take the disconnected slicer approach and see how we can make that work. So disconnected slicer, I'm gonna go here and let's see, let's do. So we're gonna change this one. So services and tips, we'll say begin. And duplicate. All right, so often when I'm building something, I would just build it in a table or a matrix. That's my preferred method. So let's change this to a table or a matrix. Does one look better? Not really. Oops. Let's make it big enough so we can see. Awesome. All right, guys, so let's go. Big. Okay, so amount, we have that. And I don't really want to split it by weekday. I want to split it by the payment method. Did that work? Payment method. And right now, they are showing the same number. And that's expected, that's typical when you don't have a relationship. Often, if I delete this relationship right here, and if you say, show me the amount by January, February, March, it'll repeat the same number. So that's expected. But what we're going to do is we're going to change these things up. So let's see. So let's go in here, and I'm going to define a measure, which is going to say, which is the selected payment method? Which one are we trying to show? So selected payment method equals selected value payment method. That's simple as that. And now we can stick it in here. So that's what I do when I have a matrix. We might have to make the size a little bit smaller. Oh, well, maybe we can make this smaller. Oops. So cash and credit card. And now let's change our amount, services, and tips. Amount, services, and tips. So this one has comprised of services and tips. So actually we're going to go to one of these ones and change it up. So if you go amount services, And now instead of adding cash and credit card, we can check what is the selected services. So we'll say, let's say switch selected payment method, and then we say if it is cash, then we show this. Oops. Oh, double quotes. If it is credit, then we show this. Else, we show both. Oops. Okay, so let's try that. And I'm going to swap for a quick second, just focus on amount services and check how that behaves. So yeah, so 21, oh, credit, oh, okay, credit card, credit, okay, got it. So I got to fix that. So instead of cash, it is credit card. Okay, this should be better. Okay, cool. So now this seems to be working. Cash, I get this amount. Credit, I get this amount. And total, if there is nothing selected, then I get the total amount. That's great. Let's do the same thing for amount tips. So I'm going to take amount tips and do the same formula. Cash amount, cash tips, amount cash tips, tips, and last one, tips. Let's also test this one. Awesome. This looks like it's working as well. So now we can slice and dice it. So again, earlier it was a repeating number. Now it's this. So now we can go back to the amount, services and tips, and we don't need to change anything here because this one automatically reflects the cash or credit card. This one also reflects that. So we don't need to make any change here. So that's it. In fact, if you go back, there's no change needed. Earlier, if you I mean, maybe I forgot to show it, but earlier if you click this, it wouldn't change. It wouldn't make any impact. But now let's see how it works. If you click cash, bingo, it filters down just to that. And if you click credit, it filters down just to that. And that's it. So that's, a simple use of a disconnected slicer. Now I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a teaser, which we're going to come back and cover in day 4. So actually, so again, this was real Power BI, right? So this was as we were going week through week, we were building this out. The students were building it out. I was guiding them with a gentle hand. But we realized it closed day 4 that we had taken a difficult route. So this solution worked. In fact, I'll show you what one of my students had built, and it was really impressive. I mean, look at this dashboard, right? It was showing a lot of information. But under the hood, we had taken this hard route. So what I showed you, the solution, it does work. But on day 4, I'll show you how you can really, really simplify it by shaping the model correctly and how everything becomes easy when you do that right. All right. So yeah, that's coming on day 4. And some of you might have already felt a little discomfort by looking at this data in this manner. And if you had a gut feel, I'm going to give you a clue as well, that it feels like this should be unpivoted, you're thinking along the right lines. All right. Now, of course, I would, yeah. So that's what you should look for in your data too. All right, cool. So my goal is always to not yak too much. I want to hear from you guys as well. So let's check in, see if there are any questions and comments. And yeah, I would love to talk to some more of you. So if you have any questions, and if you saw this yesterday, this is pretty cool. You're able to share your screen if you need to. Now, of course, don't show any sensitive data. We're live on YouTube. I can't edit anything. But yeah, so call. Oh, you know what? I need to dial in first. Okay, cool. So that should launch in a bit. But yeah, go to the challenge accepted page, and you should be able to dial in. Okay, so I am on the call, and I'll look at your comments. So Guy is asking, Avi, isn't it better to collect the measures in a measure table for clarity? Yes, I generally do that. I say it is a good practice. So let's go over here and start writing down some of the questions here. So we are on live. All right, looks like we have a caller. Just hold on, let me July 31, and I'll say 002042. Johnson. Oh, okay, cool. And 3. Oh, weird. All right, great. So we got that. And let's see who's so whoever's on the call, I don't see that you have audio. Yeah, it doesn't show a microphone. That is so weird. I just see QCOM BDD. That's what it says. Yeah, cool. Yeah, others can try that as well. And yeah, just go to what did I do with the challenge page? Here. Is it opening? Yes, there we go. So yeah, so if you go to the challenge information page, which is like in every email that I send out, and go all the way to the bottom and hit that phone, talk to me, my friend. Okay, let's go to this question. Not Guy Johnson, just Guy Johnson. So what Guy is talking about is you could create a folder. Hold on, guys. It's still hot by Seattle standards. Let's turn on the fan. Oh gosh, I'm so pampered. My friends laugh at me like, can't believe you grew up in India. I grew up in Delhi. It gets really hot. All right, so we could create a new table, and this is how I usually do it. I just say enter data, and I usually change the table name to underscore formulas. Underscore makes it show up at the top of the list over here. And once that loads, the first thing that I do is I hide this column. Don't need it, don't care. And now the table disappears, but that's okay. You can take some of your measures or all of them and go to modeling and change the home table. So now you can say, I want to keep my measures in this separate table. Now that is usually a good approach. I do often take that, almost always with my clients. And you're not restricted to just one folder like this. You can have multiple folders. Obviously, be a little organized. Don't end up with like 50 folders. That won't help you. But maybe if you have different subject areas, maybe one folder is going to have a specific set of measures. Another folder is going to have another set of measures. Yeah, right. And I love measures. I often end up with like hundreds of them. So folders like this can help with the organization. I feel slightly jealous that folks who are in the SSAS tabular land, they can also use subfolders, which can also be helpful at times. And yeah, generally this is a good approach. It helps keep it organized. It does come at a slight penalty though, and brownie points for somebody who can tell me what that penalty is. What's the trade-off? Do you lose something by keeping the measure here? Okay, I hope the fan isn't bugging too much. Cool. So guys, we're still looking for callers on our line, and the 107th caller will win a prize. No, just kidding. You do have a chance to win my course. Just follow the steps in the chance to win. Just 2 steps here. Oh, bingo. Wow, you guys are good. Export to Excel. Wait, is that a question or is that a statement? Any app available for export to Excel? Conditional formatting and bar chart. Wait, are those questions or comments? I'm not sure. Excel export. Let's try it. So if I say amount sales is there, and then I do a new page and I say amount sales, and then I say, I'm not sure what would I say. I'll just say let me do one thing here. So amount sales, and I say table. How do you export data? So export data would just export this one. Yeah, my understanding is it's not the export, although that could be affected as well. Now, since a few of you mentioned that, I'm going to check it. But if you have a pivot table connected to the model, I know that one does suffer. You know how in pivot tables you double click to see the underlying rows? That stops working because it tries to find the rows in the formulas table, and like there isn't anything there. Alright, so SK Valley is asking, any app available for export to Excel? Of course there is. Actually, you can connect Excel to Power BI. That's the easiest way. So SK, I'm going to show that to you, and you can tell me how and if that can help. So QCOM BTD, I'm going to bump you off. I don't know. It doesn't look like you have a mouse. So answering, let me actually write it down. That way I stay focused. Let's grab this one. Analyze in Excel. Yep, that's right. So let me just show that. And then maybe we'll talk about some other fun options. So we go and 002718. Oops. So we have analyze in Excel. That's one option. So you would just go to PowerBI.com and look at your data sets. Look at your data sets. I have AdventureWorks here, and I can just click Analyze in Excel, and that's going to give me an Excel pivot table with the connector to that. Ooh, got it. So SK has more information. Table in Power BI, I need to export to Excel with same formatting. Not with the same formatting, my friend. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. If you do need Excel though, so here's the thing. I mean, often we would have these like specific requirements that, oh, I need to look like this in, and they may or may not say that they need Excel, but why not just build it in Excel, right? So if you need a specific formatting, on Excel is a really flexible tool. Just build whatever formatting you need in Excel. So let's try something. So we can have kind of sales by, and we can have what is it, margin percentage. Let's try that, and we can have by month. Let's say. Okay, margin percentage, not very interesting. Let's get rid of that. But you can use whatever, and in one sense it is richer than Power BI also, right? So whatever you want to build with specific formatting, you can build it in Excel, and it's just a report. It's if you save this file, the file size is going to be like puny, and that could have your specific formatting. So if you do need that, you yeah, you can do that. And another option, so Excel connected report, you can also pin these back to Power BI. So if you want, you can pin this to Power BI dashboard. Let's see if I have that set up. So Power BI, let's try this. Pin this to my workspace existing dashboard. Okay, I haven't tried this in a while. Oh, it has been pinned. view in Power BI. I'm gonna go to my dashboard, this one, and it has my Power BI elements, which if I click on, I'll go to the report. But then it should have, ooh, look at that. So that is coming from kind of an Excel report, right? So you can do things like that. So it's still in Power BI, but if you want that specific formatting. So I'm not really sure if that helps exactly with this scenario. Generally, yeah, I say don't try to get too fixated on kind of the reporting tool. Remember that you have an option for the reporting tool. Reporting tool is easy. I mean, once you build the model, you can bring your own visualization tool, right? I mean, you can use Power BI by all means, but of course, you should also create online Power BI reports, not just inside the PBIX file. And then you can connect others. You can connect Excel. You can connect SSRS. Heck, depending on your setup, you may even be able to easily connect Tableau and other third-party tools. So the visualization tool isn't that important. You can choose the right one, and they all connect back to the same source, the same model. You don't duplicate the model. Like this thing doesn't duplicate the model. Let's check out its size, and I'll show you. So the one that I just saved, Excel connected report, I mean, it's just 17 kilobytes, whereas my model is much larger. I mean, frankly, not that much bigger. I think the model is like, I don't know, 50 megabytes or something, but the model could be 50 gigabytes for all I care. This report will always be a thin report. All right, cool. So, hey, friends, we're still looking for a caller. I really enjoyed the discussions yesterday, so I'm hoping for a little more of that. So, yeah, go to the challenge information page, hit the phone, and I would love to talk to you. Let's see what the other comments. So, what is the purpose? So, the purpose of DAX is to do measures. That's a good point. So, let's approach it in a different way. Hey Sam, good to see you here, man, and what an incredible win, and thank you for giving me a little bit of the credit. But so Sam, the other day I saw his YouTube comment, and gosh, your comments have been piling up, and I do and will respond to each one of those. I love them, so keep them coming. But I saw yours, couldn't respond, Sam. I just wanted to send you kudos. So Sam said he won the Power BI I think the dashboard challenge or something that run, and he gave me part of the credit, which is incredibly generous. So that's great. Let's take Florence's question here. Gosh, this is fun, guys. 001. Okay. Oh, actually, I had another one for SK Wally 2. Hey, if it's okay, I'll show that really quick. So if you have a model kind of running like this, you can also connect Excel to that model. And it turns out, so the technologies that we have talked about, Power BI, SSAS Tabular, Azure Analysis Services, Power Pivot, they're not that dissimilar, right? They're all pretty similar. So you can actually pretend that your Power BI desktop is an analysis server. Let's see how we can do that. So I use an app called DAX Studio to figure out it actually is running an SSAS Tabular server, but it's running on a secret port. So I'll show you. Once you open DAX Studio, this lets you connect to the model, and here you can go, ooh, I want to connect to this day 3 end, connect, and the only thing that I'm looking for is down in this corner, this 52307. Let's see if I can remember that number, 52307. So I can open a new Excel file. Let's try that. And I can say data, I want to connect to an analysis server. All right, ready? From database and analysis server. Now I don't have a real server running, but the Power BI desktop is actually running the same thing. So I can just say localhost 52307, click next, and just finish. Pivot table, and now this is connected to that model that we have. And let's see, I think we had defined the rolling 7-day average. And yeah, so whatever you could do over there, you could kind of do here, just using Excel as a reporting tool. Let's I'm looking for, oh, there we go, amount sales, I guess. There we go. Right, so anyway, you get the idea. And I often use it to debug things. If I'm writing something really complicated, sometimes it helps to just be in Excel. I don't know, I've used Excel for so long, it just, you know, feels really easy. It's feels really fast just having a pivot table. So sometimes this feels, you know, it's like, oh gosh, how do I filter? And in Excel, it's much easier. So that's one trick. I don't think it applies to your scenario, but yeah, it's a cool trick to have up your sleeve. So let's go to Florence's question. The purpose of DAX is to do measures. I would agree with that, but let's talk about the kind of the bigger picture, that query editor is the kitchen, but you shouldn't create, generally, best practice, all right? So you wouldn't do math there, no calculation. Save the math for DAX and you create measures. So I would say I don't create my DAX calculated columns in DAX, right? So calculated columns should happen in the kitchen. So I don't do it here. I do not recommend that. And some people use DAX as kind of a query language. There are scenarios where you should be doing that, but in general, you shouldn't be. If you find yourself clicking this button a lot, really, they really shouldn't have placed this right next to it. In fact, they should have hidden away these buttons somewhere, somewhere off to the side, or maybe make it a drop down. You know how in query editor it's like you have to click and then you see these? Because guys, these are kind of exceptions. So when you do use them, you should have a clear understanding that, oh, this is not the best practice, it's not the rule, but I am doing this because so and so. And yeah, there's some scenarios where these might be relevant, but generally, I don't remember the last time I did a calculated column in here in DAX, because that if you ask me, that belongs in the query editor. And yeah, you shouldn't be using this table unless it's a special case. Cool. Hopefully that helps. So guys, looks like yeah, I don't have any callers. That's okay. Let's see if you have any other questions online. Yeah, Sam is more direct. Calculated columns suck. Oh yeah, I see people who have like calculated column after calculated column, and it just doesn't work. So there are two challenges with doing a calculated column. If you're doing math here in a calculated column, right, that is wrong. And if you're doing math in the query editor, that's also wrong. It just lands you in trouble. Yeah, let's we can go there. So rookie mistakes. Well, I'll kind of admit, so top 10 rookie mistakes, let's talk about that really quick. So that was my topic for the Power BI Summit. And I'll say that, man, you live and learn. And hindsight is 2020. I want another shot at presenting this session. In fact, I have submitted a request for the Power BI World Tour, and I think that's in October in Seattle. So I am getting another shot, because here's what ended up happening, guys. So I had 3 sessions running here. So again, I don't want to make excuses, but I was a little bit pressed for time. I had a day-long session with Matt Allington on focus on data modeling, and then we had a 2-hour session on data modeling again, and then I had this 1-hour session, and I covered it. and the content was good, I think, but I think the approach was off. So I'll share with you what I shared there. So this is how I should have run it. All right, this is how I should have run it, where I should have walked in, opened up Power BI desktop, and connected to some data, and did some things for 5 minutes, and then paused and said, guys, you tell me what mistakes did I do. And I thought about doing it in online format, but frankly, online format it's kind of hard to get the participation. So I want to try it in person, right? So run it that way, where I show them and say, what mistakes did I do? Show them what mistakes did I do. That would have been a lot more engaging. I messed it up. Again, hindsight is 2020. I ran the whole thing from PowerPoint slide deck, which I feel so embarrassed about now. I'm like, oh gosh, that wasn't a great way to do it. So yeah, I think it was a miss. There were some, Avi faithful there, I guess, who did hang around, and yeah, a lot of folks did find value, but it could have been so much better. So let's see. I'll skip over. So yeah, so I'll just run through some of that. So one, exactly what we were talking about. So I hadn't intended to rank it 1 to 10, but somehow this one ended up at number 1. I'm like, okay, good. So calculated column versus measures, and yep, measures is the way to go. Yeah, they're flexible, automatically reflect the data, space impact, they're light, and so forth. And of course, folks who've gone through the tutorial, they've heard me talk about that. So this is on my channel. So what else? Yeah, I talked about the impact of calculated column on the file size. Why is that important? Because it's the memory, in-memory architecture, right? So they're dynamic. So each of these reasons, any of these reasons by themselves are big enough for you to choose measures over calculated columns. Yeah, and then we talked a little bit about how, so that is why you should choose measures, but you also have to remember that DAX works slightly differently. Row context and filter context, the way they behave in these two are slightly different. This pretty much every pro knows this. The convention is to, when you refer to a column, you use the table name, and when you refer to a measure, you do not use that. You never say table measure. So that was nice and quick. What else is there? Come on, examples. Pro move. I don't remember what that one is about. Organize, measure in folders. Wow, that's great. So you guys, we covered like half of this, it feels like, on this call today. So we, exact same technique that I showed you guys, underscore formulas. So that's a pro move. So that was kind of a bonus. That's not like a rookie mistake. I did talk about trade-offs. And some conceptual things as well that you should understand your model. You should create it on a piece of paper. And of course, I've talked about data modeling endlessly in the Microsoft webinars and all that stuff. So yeah, so you create it in paper, bring it to, kind of give it shape, chisel it in the query editor. That's your kitchen. And then finally, DAX measures. It's simple, guys. It's really, not more complicated than that. And then you just iterate the heck out of it. Power BI is agile BI. Let's see, number 5. I see this and it's like, why? Are you really that lazy? I know, I'm just kidding. But just get in the habit. I mean, that's the first thing that I do. I just rename everything. I don't like this dim fact or whatever. So whatever, if the source doesn't have, your names should generally be the labels that you would like to show them in the report. So if you find yourself like fixing it in the report, why? Just fix it in the model itself. All right, let's see. Number 6, so Excel. Now this was twofold. One, I sometimes see people solve half the problem in Excel and half in Power BI. And again, you're selling yourself short. You'll say, oh, this is too hard. I couldn't figure it out in Power BI. I'm just going to go do it in Excel. But you're not getting the full power out of it. And then, of course, the other mistake is you just flatten the heck out of this. That's what Excel users do. So yeah, keep it a model. SQL folks, again, I see the same thing where they solve things. Oh, I can't figure it out in Power BI. And again, sometimes they would do a lot of math in SQL. I'll just pre-calculate it. The distinct count, year over year, all of that stuff. And that doesn't work well. So that's one aspect of it. And another is that everything is a query. They write queries for everything, so it doesn't work that way either. So I see that. And this one I wanted to bring in more examples, but yeah, more of a demo. But yeah, so sometimes I see people using filters pretty heavily. In fact, we talked about it yesterday in our call, where you try to solve things in the visual. So you use either using edit interactions or visual level or page level filters pretty heavily, or bookmarks. I see bookmarks being abused a heck of a lot. I'm like, seriously, everything is a bookmark. Oh no, you don't need a bookmark. You need to solve it in the DAX or in the model. So don't try to solve everything in the visuals. And I've had people come to me with a visualization problem, which was actually much deeper. This was a screenshot of one of the top Power BIs. And sometimes even DAX is not the answer. So again, this is a real example of a question that came in. I think this one is from another Talk Power BI call, which I do on Fridays. And this one changed to a simple sum after we fixed the model. So yeah, that's and yeah, the last one was that it's about the people, my friend. And we were talking about that yesterday. So it's odd that how many of those themes have come up in our discussion. So this is the discussion that I had with Guy Johnson yesterday, where we were talking about the resistance to change, about this growth versus fixed mindset. And these are real things. And this is the thing, guys. I mean, it's kind of a little bit like art and science. So you can master Power BI. You can be like, I can write any DAX measure that I want. But if you want a bigger impact, you have to up the game. So at Microsoft, I mean, I didn't grow because I knew DAX and Power Pivot. I mean, of course, that's a prerequisite, right? I mean, you got to be good at that. But I grew because I was so passionate about this that I started doing brown bags, like brown bags. Yeah, so we would meet over lunch, and I would just teach them everything about Power BI. And one team knew, and the other team knew, and before I knew it, it had started a movement, right? So, and of course, then I felt like, oh my, I want to take it bigger, and that's been my journey so far. So, yeah. So another thing that I talk about is kind of the yeah. I mean, oh gosh, I can talk endlessly about it. I'll shut up for a bit. So let's see if you have. Let me know what you thought of that. Oh, I should have written that down like I talked about. Oh, I did. Awesome. So 39. Let's see any other questions. Mario Diaz has a good question. Let's see anything else from the video recording. Yep. So Gravelli, it's all on my channel. I'm live on my channel, and of course, if you are signed up for the challenge, then you have access to a handy playlist. Where is it? Where I can find it? So if you have the challenge information thing, and if you click on resources, this has, notice it has all the handy playlists for everything in there. And of course, this would be added on there. But you can also just go to my channel simply and just look at the videos there. Okay, sorry about that. Can't help it. Somebody's doing some cooking downstairs and they set up the fire alarm. I work from home and kids are off, so all kinds of craziness. Okay, whew. I wasn't sure how long this one lasts. Oh, Jen has some good news. Hashtag win, my friend. So she's saying I found a good ally at my company. Really excited. And it starts from one person, right? I'm thinking of a really smart quote. I don't know. Yeah, it starts from one person. The revolutions that I've seen, the Power BI revolutions, the ones I've seen have always been ground up. It's this one guy who got bit by the bug and couldn't stop talking about it and showing it, right? So sometimes it's hard, right? I know Guy Johnson, he's trying to find an ally, but Jen, I'm happy for you. All right, cool. So let's talk about this. And so, folks, I'm teaching a class today at University of Washington, and I'm not as prepped as I would like to be. So we might cut this a little short, and it's odd. So Thursdays we meet with a class. Of course, this Thursday is special because we're gonna have the day 4 training for our class. That's when. So this Thursday, no, I messed it up. Thursday is, let me just go back here. This Thursday, yes, it is our webinar, and yeah, if everything lines up, I'm hoping to announce the winner of the chance to win in that session. And yeah, I would so this one you do need to register separately because I'm going to run it using a different tool, not on YouTube. So yeah, make sure you register day 5 and, well, fill out this chance to win for a seat in my class. Okay, I keep getting distracted. Let's focus on this one. Oops. So what would you recommend using to calculate the time between two date columns? Query editor or calculated column? Well, my friend, well, depends. If this feels like math, now if you calculate the time, is it a label? Do you want to slice and dice data using that? Right? So basically, imagine if you were building a pivot table, do you need to add it to rows or columns? Once I get off, I'll have to go down and see what the kids are doing. But generally, I'm going to assume that this is a calculation. So let's see how we might go about that. And of course, if you have a data set that you can kind of share, I know it gets kind of tricky. Sometimes you have to kind of clean up. You can hop on a call and share it, and we can go with that. But I'm going to solve it using AdventureWorks, if I can find the file that I'm looking for. All right. Wow. So what do we have here? We have, in our wonderful AdventureWorks data set, we have an order date and ship date. And so the question is, if we go back to that, is like, oh, I want to calculate it. Should I do it using a query editor or a column? Now, you could do it doing both of those ways. And again, between these two, I'll pick the query editor if you were going to do it this way. But if it is math you're doing, maybe it should be DAX. So usually I reach for DAX first. But let's see. So MTTR order date to ship date. So mean time to ship or something like that. So let's say I build a table. Something simple table. And so we'll say for calendar, let's do month year. Month year, that looks good. Let's do size. Month here, and I'm just building what I call a working pivot. I don't know, working table, whatever, right? So it's and let's add in kind of sales over here, and we'll leave that one there, and then let's do another one where we would say something more granular, and let's filter it down. So let's look at like a single month. How about that? So we'll do month year. And we're going to look at, I don't know which one to look at. Let's say January 2016. January 16th. Okay, so I got that. Now let's go here. Or, you know what? Let's try July 2015. Okay. I'm trying to hope for a smaller number. February. Okay, I give up. February is good. Any month, doesn't matter. Sales, and here I can have my sales. Let's do by ship date. Where is it? Oh, it's alphabetical, of course. So ship date, and let's do order date. And yep, that looks good. let's also see how much of a count is there. About 156. Okay, cool. So we could do something like this. So I hope I can make it work. Let's see. So what if we said something like this? How much is the time to ship? Time to ship is give me. All right, so I know I'm looking for an X function, right? So actually, let's see. Hold on. Let's try it again. Is this gonna work? No. Okay. Time to ship. Let's go over here, and let's. All right. Restart. So let's say time to ship, right? And I know I'm looking for an X function. X functions are iterators, which go row by row, all right? And let's say, what if we, and let's use average X for now. So which table do I want to iterate over? I want to iterate over my sales table, and then for each of those rows, I'm just going to calculate the ship date minus order date. And as you remember, the best practice is, if you're referring to a column, you prefix it with the table name. So we're going to do that. So go to each row, subtract ship date minus order date. That'll give us time to ship, and then just do an average. And this formula is actually not perfect. I can see some holes in this, but I wouldn't mention that for now. And once you have this number, you can slice and dice the heck out of it. That's what I like about Power BI. You define your measures once, and you use them everywhere. So we can come in here, and this maybe can be like a card, which is big and bold. Oops. So let's go here. Man, if I smell smoke, guys, I might have to cut this live short. I don't want to be on the local news tomorrow. So let's try background. Okay, so we got this high level number. Time to ship is 7.01, but now we can kind of trend it, right? Or we can trend it over time, or if you want, how about this? How about we filter it to 1 year? Hey, come in. Parth, is that you? Is everything all right?
Oh, yeah, we're making corn on the cob. Do you want some?
Not right now.
Okay, yeah, and we're eating lunch. So.
Okay, I'll be right there. So, yeah, they're making corn on the cob, guys. That's what triggering the alarm off. All right, so you can have this, and really simply, time to ship, and I should really put it somewhere else. Let's put it in sales, and you can define a new measure, and you can say time to ship prior year. And again, reuse. So I already have the measure defined, so I'm just going to reuse that and say, yep, calculate that same thing, but for the previous year. And I'm using one of the time intelligence functions. So yeah, I build measures in Lego blocks. So guys, I like simple. Frankly, I can't keep complicated stuff in my head. So yeah, I build things in kind of small Lego blocks, and that way I can understand what's going on. We do have a guest here. Where do you go? I want to crush him. Left him out. So we're dog sitting this guy, one of our friend's dogs. He's the best best sleeping dog ever. Loves to sleep. Okay. All right, where is our time to last year? And yeah, so of course there's not much variation in this, but you can kind of compare it and so forth. Maybe if we are comparing kind of side by side, yeah. So again, you get the idea. What about so this is year over year. What if we said I want to compare it by territory? So again, I mean, you get the idea. Once you define the measure, it's slice and dice heaven. You know, you just go at it. So here, instead of month year, I want to say, is it different by territory? Is one territory shipping slower? And of course, you can do it by whatever your data set is. You can say, you know, I want to do it by, okay, so you can see for territory, it's not that different. You can add labels and stuff, but yeah, Adventure works. I doubt your data would be as bland. So that is kind of time to ship. So again, if you look at the measure, I define it this way, and it does have, it's not, well, yeah, I mean, so that's the idea. What do you guys think? Awesome, cool. All right, Mario says works like a charm. Deleting my calculated column. That's a win right there. Those are the words I love hearing. Okay, my friends. So again, you have the option to call in. I think I'm on the call. Yep. And let's see. If you go to the challenge accepted page and hit the phone, and let's do last call. The comments are a little slow. I'm always happy to stay on, but I'm not seeing a lot of traffic. And I did mention that UW class that I need to prep for. Can you take this further and do cumulative averages? Yup, Lego blocks, right? Lego blocks. I mean, you build one small thing, and I use that to build kind of prior year. And I can then use that again to build cumulative averages. Well, actually, cumulative. Oh, let's do cumulative. Let's do that cumulative. So for cumulative, it would be okay. Let's do it. I don't think that should be shown in a graph. Not for this one because it's confusing, at least to me. Let's try cumulative one. Let's stick that in our Word document. So we'll say 01, 02, 50. Oops. Weird. 02, 50, and this was let's work on that. And I should stick the formulas that I used in here. That would be nice, wouldn't it? And again, you have access to this document as well. And all you have to do is go to the challenge page and click on this challenge files and notes. And right here, it's got the daily plan, the files for each day, and everything. So right, so I'm not sure what this is. Okay, cool. Daily plan notes. So let's come back here, and first of all, let's simplify this. So time to ship, kind of prior year, great. And I'm just going to make it a table. Oops. Size, and let's select 1 year. How about that? So I'm going to go back here. Come on. Oh, sync, don't sync. Cumulative year to date. Let's try that. So let's first try that in something that might be simpler to understand. It would be simpler to understand for me. So ignore that for now. I'm going to try it for sales. So we'll do sales, and oh boy, lots of sales, but let's stick that in here, and let's see if we can do a cumulative year to date for this. So we'll do a new measure, and we'll say sales cumulative year to date equals calculate. So again, Lego blocks. We're reusing that measure, and then and a lot of things are made easy by the inbuilt army of function that DAX has. So we're going to say dates year to date, and the calendar, and we talked about this I think on day 2. Everything should have a calendar table, and you can grab the ultimate calendar table on my channel or as part of this challenge as well. And that's it, dates year to date. And let's see how it works. Currency general, fix the decimal, and let's go in here and let's add that. And you can see it. I mean, it seems right. 16, 8, 4, 12. Does that seem right? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that's right. It's funny how much math we can do in elementary school, and later we can't. I know I can't. But yeah, I would assume certainly this matches that, so I would declare a victory. So this one is there, and of course you can graph it if you want. And of course, typically you would never put them on the same graph. You would just just do kind of cumulative, and maybe you would do like a budget cumulative year to date. And so now let's come back to that problem. So what I'm going to do is just take this one, come to our ship problem. Now that one is an average, but let's try it. New measure. And so instead of sales, if we say time to ship, can you guess how much I need to change the measure? What part? It's simple, right? We already have that defined, so that's it. It's like, yep, go do that thing, but in this context, in dates year to date, make it cumulative, and that's it. That is it. Now, of course, why I solved sales cumulative, because this one is an average, so you can't check it really quickly. Right, so it doesn't kind of add up, but let's see if it makes sense. So for this month, January, it was 7, and it is 7. Makes sense, right? Now, February was lower than 7, so what would I expect to be kind of an aggregate average of that? To be certainly lower than 7, to be pulled down, and it is pulled down, 6.64. So, it seems directionally correct. Now, of course, if I was debugging it, now this is the scenario where I was talking about where it can help to have an Excel thing connected to that model, because it lets you kind of debug that, where you just go to February or something, and usually when I'm debugging it, I filter down to something really, really small. So I would filter down to like like territory and let's say so country, and I would say just give me I don't know, Canada or something like that. So make it like really small, and then I'll just test for 2 months. So that's validation though. That's something else. But the formula, you saw how simple these patterns are, and once you have done one, you know how to do anything cumulative, right? And it's you don't even have to think about it. It's just whatever you have, whatever measure you have, doesn't matter how complicated, as long as you defined it, and now you say, oh, I want the year to date of that. This is it. That's it. Simple, my friends. Conditional formatting in the bar chart. Bar chart. Let's try that. Okay, guys. So let's. All right. So we will make this the last question. How about that? 01, 09. Oh, choose. And 23. Let's see what options are available to us. Let's go over here. And guys, I'm going to save this file so that it's available to you as well. So I'm going to save it in the same folder that you have access to, which is, right here. So we're going to say 2018 0731, and this is multiple examples. I think I showed like a few different things here. MMTR, mean, I might have messed that up. MTTR, mean time to review, right? So, and cumulative year to date, and now we're trying to do bar chart formatting. Let's just do, can we get bar charts? I want to do something simple. Sales by month, how about that? Oh, well, okay, I don't have to do. How about this? So I have variance by month, and notice that you can add something to the color saturation. Now you can show one value on here and use the saturation, use a different measure for the color saturation. That's usually unusual. You better better know what you're doing, and better make sure that that's not confusing to the audience. Generally, it's the same measure. So variance, when it's kind of really negative, is deep red. When it's light, so you add that to the color saturation, and then you can, how do you set, oh shoot, color saturation, oh, it's in the settings, I think. So data colors, and you can change this here, and sometimes you can choose like a monochromatic. So sometimes like red and green is not what you want, so maybe you can choose like light gray to dark gray, something like that. I actually messed that up. Let's reverse it. So this to this, how about that, right? So now yeah, so I don't know if that's better or worse, but yeah, so that is it. Hopefully that helped. All right, my friends, so let's kind of recap what we have for day 3, and then I will sign off. So and hindsight is 2020. I should have done this to begin with. It doesn't make sense. I just came in saying, hey guys, pick your own project. Now I would say that that's where the most value is. That's the level at which I work with most of my students inside the class, right? So I tell them, yeah, go watch the videos in the course. There's a lot of good content there, but real learning comes from doing. Go apply it and bring me the questions. And we meet kind of every week, and we do Q&A. So that's the level that I work with my students. But I realize that folks, you know, kind of in my community, they're at different levels. So we do have these 3 tracks: beginner, intermediate, and intermediate plus. So you can follow the tutorial. You can follow along with the real Power BI examples that I've been showing you. Or you can, if you have that option, choose your own projects and bring me the questions. What else? And yeah, just make sure to enter this. It's just a really quick 2 steps. Leave a comment, fill out a survey, and make sure to join us on the day 5 of Power BI training. So that's going to be a special webinar, and if things go right, I hope they do. It's the yeah, I haven't, yeah, I mean, yeah, I hope they do. Then we're going to announce the winner for this on that call. All right, my friends, I'll see you next time. Power on.